everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And as I promised, this channel wouldn't just be about Fox Body Mustangs. Our next video is going to be a one-year review of my Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Absolutely love the truck. I'm going to cover 3 things I love on the truck and 3 things maybe I'm not as crazy about. But I will tell you overall, I think it's a great truck, and at the end I'll tell you, should I recommend the truck to anybody or not. Now here's the deal with this truck, and here's how this truck came to be for me. About a year ago, I bought this in the end of May of 2020. I had a 2018 Tundra, limited, nice truck, leather interior. I had a 2017 Fiat 124 Spider Abarth, the little convertible, really fun car. But then I also had the 93 Corvette. The Corvette came after the Fiat. It was a friend of mine. It kind of fell into my lap at a great price, so I ended up buying it, but it created a redundancy. I didn't need two-seat sports cars. But I love having a convertible. So I talked to my wife. I said, look, I love the Tundra, but there's a couple of drawbacks. One is it's super fuel thirsty, like terrible gas mileage. You're lucky to get 17 miles a gallon on that truck. So I need something a little better gas mileage. But I also wanted a convertible. I wasn't giving up the convertible. So we talked a little bit, and we were thinking, okay, do I do a Wrangler? Or I really like the new Gladiators that are coming out, right? We had a Wrangler in 11. We bought it new for my wife. It was a sport, 2-door, really cool truck. We owned it for like 7 years. Towards the end, I got it from her when I bought her car, her newer car, and then I ended up putting a set of 33s on it, a new bumper, kind of had some fun with it. But man, it was useless as a utility vehicle. There wasn't a lot of space inside of it, and it was a sport, so it was a little bit limited. It had the new interior, but had the old motor, so it was just kind of a dog. So he said, you know what, I like the Gladiator, let's go take a look at him. So he went and took a look at this one, and I actually went over to look at an Overland. And then I drove it. It was a nice truck. The interior was sharp, but it didn't speak to me, right? The flat hood, kind of the wheels weren't great looking. The more utilitarian tires versus the, I almost got attacked by 2 chipmunks just there. The utilitarian tires versus the off-road stuff. It just wasn't a great looking truck, and it didn't really wow me. And I said, if I'm gonna spend this much money for a truck, I want one that's really gonna wow me. So I went over the Rubicon and I drove it, and I absolutely love this truck. I thought it drove great. I love the style on it, the more aggressiveness. You got the Fox shocks, the lockers, everything you're looking for on the truck was just a really cool vehicle, and I love the color. Now, I do want to talk about, how I feel about the truck, and I'm going to hit the 3 things I love in just a minute, but let me start with the 3 things I wish that Jeep had done a little better on the truck. The first one is going to be fuel economy. While it is still a mid-sized truck, it's a big mid-sized truck, right? It's over 5,000 pounds. It's got a lot of capability, but it is really still not great for fuel efficiency. Now, it is better than the Tundra, right? The Tundra was a 385 horsepower V8. This is a 280 horsepower, 260 foot-pound torque V6. And it's okay, but it doesn't get great gas mileage. On a good day, I can get like 17 to 20 on the highway, and I'm probably 13 to 15 in the city. So it's okay, but it's not great. Unfortunately, I'd have to put a ton of miles on this truck this year. It's only got about 9,000 miles on it because I didn't travel as much because of the pandemic like a lot of us. I usually do about 15,000 miles a year. So I didn't do as many miles. But I did do a 200-mile round trip last week, and I did average about 21 miles. That's about as good as you're going to get on this truck at about 65 to 70 miles an hour. The second thing I would tell you is I wish it did have a little more power. Man, I am super jealous of that 392 Wrangler. I wish it was in this truck, because this truck could use a 392. It would be awesome. Again, like I said, it's 280, 285 horsepower, 260 foot-pounds of torque. It's decent, but it's not fast. And you feel heavy. It does feel, even with the gearing, like these are 410 gears because it's got the lockers and it's the Rubicon package. It still feels sluggish from the line. It just doesn't have a lot of oomph. Plus, it has kind of a weak exhaust note too. So, wish it just had the better motor, or at least the option to buy the better motor. Most people probably wouldn't, but if it was an option, I absolutely would. The last thing I'll hit on, and again, we'll talk about it as a mid-sized truck. It's good, but the 5-foot bed's a little small. I wish we had an option to go with a 6-foot bed. While it's fine and it's adequate, I would tell you a 6-foot bed on this truck would be great, because it would give us a lot more flexibility when we're trying to do stuff. I'm actually picking up a treadmill to replace my one in the basement, and I'm trying to figure out, will I be able to fit the treadmill in my truck? So that's a concern for me. But I would say those are the 3 things I don't like as much about the truck. So let's talk about what we love in the truck. And we're inside the truck right now because I wanted to share the inside with you. I absolutely love the interior of this truck. I think Jeep did an awesome job. We had the 2011, which was the new version of the interior, which was a huge upgrade from the previous Jeep interiors. But this interior is really nice. And I think it was tough for me when I bought the Rubicon, is most of them have a lot of plastic and a lot of red. And and again, they kind of all look the same. but I didn't want the red accents in there. The Mojave, in full disclosure, wasn't out yet. I don't know if I would have bought the Mojave. I'm an orange freak, so orange would have been tough for me to turn down. And I'm not going to do a lot of rock crawling on this truck, if, again, I'm just being honest. Maybe eventually I'll do some trails, but again, when you buy a $50,000+ truck and it's your everyday vehicle, I'm a little nervous to tear it up right now, but I do love the capability, and it's been great in all weather, right? We got a little bit of snow last year. This thing kicked ass in the snow, so much better than the previous versions of it. So, I would tell you that for me, as I walk through here, I love the interior, right? So I went with the tan interior. You can see you get the Rubicon, the Rubicon stitching in the seats, a really nice back seat. We don't use it a lot. You see we have the full size, the premium radio, all the gauges here. You have all the really cool gauge clusters. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this truck. So I would say that for me, first thing would be the interior. I really, really like it a lot. I think it's really nice. I think Jeep did a really good job on it. So I love the interior. The second thing I love, the soft top. People think I'm crazy for buying a soft top. Absolutely love it. The new soft top opens up so fast. Have you owned a soft top Jeep in the past? They were a huge pain in the ass. Like, I hated it. I didn't want to use it. This thing goes down literally in 15 seconds, and you can put it back up in 30. The only downside is you got to get back up and put it in, but as we say that, right, legitimately 2 clips to unhook it, right? That's it. It's up. And then right from there, all you have to do is just push it back and you're done. Like, that's how easy it is today to open up the Jeep. And again, that's a huge win if you're going to use the vehicle as a soft top vehicle. Like, I love the Freedom top, and you can do some cool stuff, but taking the whole hard top off is a pain in the ass. I would personally recommend the soft top to anybody that's thinking about doing it. So the first 2 things I talk about is the interior. I talk about the top. I love both of them. Obviously, when it comes to the top, taking the doors off, all that stuff is super, easy to do when you have that capability. But I'll talk about the last thing I love. And that's going to be the ability, obviously, to customize. If you buy a Jeep, you're going to want to kind of play with it yourself. Again, I'm in my late 40s. For me, I always wanted a set of KC lights. That was kind of the old school style, right? You wanted the, the 80s style lighting. So we went with the KC lights, and I absolutely love them. You can do your custom bumper. We threw a set of, side steps on. I know people give me shit for that because you take the rock sliders off and it loses a little bit of the capability of the Rubicon. But just holistically, I think the car just looks great that way. And I told you it was easy to put the top down. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to come back and kind of wrap up the video here for you. So give me 1 second. Let me put the top down. I'll show you how easy it is. So legitimately, once you're here, it's just a matter of grabbing the top. So, come on up. That's it. No more bullshit like the old ones where it was a ton of work to do, tons of zippers, tons of snaps. Just kind of sucked. It was not a lot of fun. So the new one's significantly easier. So I would tell you, for me, after 1 year of ownership, would I recommend the Gladiator to somebody? Wholeheartedly. I would tell you that the pros well outweigh the cons. Again, I wish it had a little more power. I wish it had a little better gas mileage, and a larger bed would be nice. But again, from what it is, from a mid-sized truck, 7,000 pounds of towing capability. You can throw over 1,000 pounds in the bed. You can fit 4 people in the truck comfortably. The interior's nice. The heated seats, heated steering wheel, awesome stereo. Looks great. Tons of off-road capability. I think the truck's incredible. If I were to look at a couple things that I would be, hesitant if I was thinking about buying a Gladiator, again, just see if you need a bigger truck would be the biggest one. Is this the right size truck for you? Is it the right size for your family? It is a little small in the back if you get a larger family. And they're pricey, right? For what you're going to spend with the inflation, everything going up recently, a truck like this, that I paid $52 for last year, this same time last year, you probably pay almost $60 today for, and I could trade this in for $52 to $55 after owning it for a year and putting 9,000 miles on it. So I would say overall for me, I would highly recommend it. If you're thinking about buying a Gladiator, definitely a truck I would recommend. Really, really cool. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out more. We have a car show this Saturday up in a Mustang show, so we'll be bringing the Mustang up there. We'll walk you through some cool vehicles. We hope you enjoy the channel, and we'll talk to you pretty soon. Thanks.